Hello, everybody. Welcome to my list for the top 10 movies of 2020. This is something I've been dying to talk about all year, especially since this year has been an absolute mess, and I just want it to be over. So, this list is kind of the marking of that. So, I'm really excited to share with you guys the top 10 movies of 2020 in my personal opinion. This is my list, so if you guys have differing opinions, please comment down below. Tell me what your guys' lists are. I'd love to read them. I'd love to debate. I'd love to talk to you guys about anything. But let's get started at number 10. At number 10, we have An American Pickle. This is a movie that surprised me. I love Seth Rogen. I love his movies. I love his comedy. His style of comedy is one of my favorites. It's just very raunchy. This was a little different, though. This movie was PG-13, and it had two Seth Rogens in it. So the more the merrier, right? So I was really looking forward to this movie, especially because this is kind of about the culture of Judaism, and I'm Jewish myself. So watching this was going to be very interesting for me, and it did not disappoint. Seth Rogen is amazing in this role, and even though I know that he won't be nominated for an Oscar, I really hope he is. But yeah, An American Pickle is one that if you haven't seen, I highly suggest it. Now, coming in at number 9 is Bill and Ted Face the Music. This is a film that I was going in kind of skeptical because I am not the biggest fan of Bill and Ted. I mean, I enjoy their movies, but they've always been kind of dumb to me and just plain stupid. But I guess that's the charm of them because I really, really loved Bill and Ted Face the Music. And after I watched that, I actually rewatched the other two movies and absolutely love them. This is, without a doubt, a really faithful sequel to the Bill and Ted films. I think this film is very funny and actually very heartwarming at the same time, which I did not expect. Again, these movies for me used to be just very dumb and somewhat likable, but just not really. They were kind of throwaway for me. But this one really surprised me, and almost every comedic beat really hit for me, and that's really saying a lot. And this really turned me around on Bill and Ted, so it's number 9 on my list. Coming in at number 8 is The Invisible Man. Now, this is the last movie I was able to catch in theaters, or at least the last good movie I was able to catch in theaters before the pandemic happened, and I absolutely loved my experience with The Invisible Man. I saw this at an early screening, and everyone was just so happy about it. Everyone left the theater just talking about how good it was, and I was one of those people. The Invisible Man is probably the best horror movie of the year and has some really, really interesting cinematography and a style of filmmaking that I haven't seen in a very long time. And this is a Dark Pictures film and the first good one. So that was a big surprise for me. All the performances are great. This is definitely one that I think will be nominated for some Oscars. At least I really hope so, because there are some amazing things. I hope it gets nominated for cinematography. But yeah, that's why it's at my number 8. Coming in at number 7 is The Way Back. This is actually a film that back when it first came out, I was really looking forward to because I actually grew up with sports movies and my dad's showing me sports movies. So I was really looking forward to watching, especially since I'm a huge fan of Ben Affleck and his work. And knowing that this performance was very important to him, I walked in with some very high expectations and I was not disappointed. The Way Back is an incredible piece of cinema and is one that should be viewed as one of the best sports movies ever made. I love The Way Back and I love almost everything about it. Ben Affleck gives one of the greatest performances of the year, and actually personally one of the best performances I've seen in a very long time. So I really, really, except for one, I'll get to that, but I really do suggest The Way Back. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. Coming in at number 6 is Tenet. I am a huge fan of Christopher Nolan. I think his movies are incredible. My favorite being Inception and The Dark Knight. But Tenet was one I was kind of skeptical going into because the concept itself just seemed very confusing. And first screening I got of it, the movie was very confusing, but it was intriguing. And as I watch it more and more, I come to develop a very big love for it. I think the characters aren't the best, but I think that's kind of the point. These characters are viewed solely as the protagonist and the antagonist. And I like that aspect of it. It's very clever. It's something I haven't really seen before. Christopher Nolan always finds out a way to blow me away. And with this movie, it was the world, it was the concept alone. It was very interesting, very intriguing, and is one that people will be talking about for years. Coming in at number 5 is The Gentleman. The Gentleman is a movie that I saw earlier in the year before the pandemic started, and was one that I was not really going into with very much high expectations. I like Guy Ritchie, I like his films, but at this point I had not really seen anything except for Aladdin, so my expectations were kind of low. But I walked out of The Gentleman really enjoying myself. This is probably the funniest movie of the year, and is incredibly intriguing, which is something I wasn't expecting. This plot seemed very simple from the trailers, and I was actually surprised by how in-depth it goes. It's not exactly thematic, but what it does with its characters are very funny, very cool. They're very enjoyable characters, very likable, and I actually gave a crap about them. So that was awesome, and the film overall was just a delight to watch. So if you haven't seen The Gentleman, I highly suggest it. Coming in at number 4 is The Five Bloods, a Spike Lee movie that, oh my god, I was so excited for this movie. I remember the day it came out, I was ready to watch it because I love BlacKkKlansman. I love Spike Lee as a director. So going into this film, of course, my expectations were high, and I was blown away. This movie was everything I wanted it to be and more. The performances are absolutely incredible. I think everyone does such an incredible job, and there are so many surprises in this movie. I don't want to give anything away, even though it's been like 6 or 7 months since the movie came out. It's still one of those movies that I just want people to see. I don't want people to know anything about. I want them to just go in and watch it. And for that, this is just one of the best of the year. Coming in at number 3 is The Trial of the Chicago 7. Aaron Sorkin proves himself to be an amazing director and really knows how to work with his actors, because my god, every single actor and actress in this film does an incredible job. These have some of the most likable characters of the year, and will be a movie that I probably will rewatch many times. This is probably one of the most rewatchable movies of the year. But this film also really surprised me because I wasn't expecting to get as wrapped up in it as I was, and therefore that's why it's on my list. That's why it's so high, and I highly suggest you guys check it out. It's on Netflix, as well as The Five Bloods. Five Bloods on Netflix too, so please check those movies out. Coming in at number 2 is Soul. I adored Soul. I think Soul is one of Pixar's greatest movies ever. I think Soul is a revolution in a lot of ways, especially with the concept. I know Pixar has a lot of tendencies to switch their concepts a lot, and sometimes they follow a pretty basic formula, but this one was very different, and something that I really love about it is that it is mainly for adults. The way it goes about its themes and the way it goes about its story is very mature, and I really love that aspect about it. Not only that, the characters are amazing. It has some of the best vocal performances ever with Jamie Foxx and Tina Fey, and this is a Pixar film I will never forget. Now, this is my number 1. This movie just blew me away in every single way. And coming in at number 1 is Mink. Mink is a film that I walked into being so damn excited, because this film is somewhat about the writing process of Citizen Kane. And Citizen Kane is one of my favorite pieces of cinema of all time. So walking into this film, I was really excited, especially with the cinematography route they were going. And the concept alone was extremely interesting. There was actually, it's about something that I didn't even know. Of course, I was incredibly excited for this movie, and it blew me away. It was so good. Gary Oldman gives the best performance of the year as Mankiewicz, and he proves himself to be, again, an amazing actor. I think this movie is a revolution in many ways. It felt like it was a 1960s movie, which was just such a delight. And this movie is actually extremely fast paced, which I wasn't expecting, but it went by like that. And every single second of it was an absolute treat. And it's also a character study that we don't really get a lot these days. So that being said, Mink is my number one. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, leave a like. Again, comment if you have a different opinion, if you have a different list. Please let me know, and I'd love to talk about it with you, have a chat. But until then, guys, thank you for such an amazing year, and I'll see you in the next video.